Hey everybody, welcome back to the Martel and Friends podcast. My name is Antoine Martel. Today I am with Soma. Soma, what are we going to talk about today?
Everything.
Everything.
We're talking about everything today.
Great.
Yes.
What's everything?
Everything is your entire journey to how you've gotten to where you are today. I want to kind of break it down because I don't think many people know how many businesses and how many tribulations you've gone through to get to where you are today. Mm-hmm. Can you share a couple of highlights about, where you are today?
Highlights of where I am today?
Yeah.
Or what I've gone through to get to?
No. Highlights of where you are today.
Where I am today? Today, most of my life is based on this company, FlipSystem. That's what I spend most of my day on. FlipSystem teaches other people how to invest in real estate out of state by providing them with software, coaching, education, and local teams on the ground as well. So that's what I spend most of my day doing. The reason I started that company was due to my own house flipping experience, learning how hard it was, helping other people buy turnkey rental properties out of state in the Midwest. And because of that, I created a software because I was doing so many deals every single month. So FlipSystem is what I do majority today, but it came from my experience with flipping my own houses, and I had to build a software that wasn't out there, and that's what we do today.
Brag for me a little bit. Tell me a little bit about some of your accomplishments with FlipSystem.
With FlipSystem, we have over 550 customers. Those customers have bought over, I think, 500 houses right now.
Oh my God.
It's only been around a year and a half. We have tons of new people signing up every single month. People are really successful. We look at the data constantly. People join, get under contract in the first 100 days, close their first house first 140 days. They sell that house a month or two later, or 2 to 3 months after buying it, after the construction and all that kind of stuff, and they make on average $10,000 to $15,000
on their first deals.
On their first deal, so typically the average client sells and flips that first house in that first 8 to 9 months of joining FlipSystem. Obviously, the first month or two is getting acquainted with everything, learning, making a bunch of offers. You get a house under contract, it fails, you get another one, and so the first from joining to selling that first house is all around 8 months for the average customer. So that's pretty crazy. Most real estate programs or other real estate coaches out there can't even say anything like that because they don't have the data. They just show like testimonials.
Right.
But you don't know what percentage of their customers actually have any kind of success.
Amazing. And how big would you say the team is at FlipSystem right now?
Team is around 50 people, just shy of 50 people, including contractors, because we have a lot of people that are doing like software development and all that kind of stuff. Like, we have like 5 or 6 full-time coders that are working on the product as well, which is the software aspect of it too.
So just over 500 customers and clients, just over or just shy of 50 people working at FlipSystem. Did you think a year and a half ago when you and Eric started FlipSystem that this is where it would be right now?
No, definitely not. When we first started FlipSystem, well, it was thanks to your help too, but when we first started with FlipSystem, it was like I'd been doing one-on-one education and coaching. I was making a shitload of money. My customers were hardly making any kind of money, and the clients that I was teaching. So I think because of that business, that's why FlipSystem started, because people were not having success. And I was like, how can I make people have success? And I didn't think it was going to work as well as it did, but it certainly did. FlipSystem all kind of started because I was like, I wonder if I was going to give everybody, like somebody the tools, all the tools they needed, how much would I charge? And I was like, $50,000. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me post on Instagram, $50,000 for all my secrets. Kind of like the Alex Hormozy thing.
Okay.
$50,000 for all my secrets. And somebody wired me $50,000 like a week or two later. And I was like, okay, cool. This could actually be a business. This could actually work out. Now, can I have that person have success in real estate with my team, my software, all that kind of stuff? So,
okay.
Yeah.
So let's take it back to give everyone some context a little bit. So before FlipSystem, there was Martel Turnkey. And with Martel Turnkey, explain what the business model was.
Martel Turnkey would go and buy houses, renovate them, rent them out, put a property manager in place, and then sell those houses.
Okay. And you would sell those as investment properties to investors.
We would sell those as investment properties to investors that wanted to buy those houses for cash flow.
Okay. Amazing. And so then why did you switch gears from FlipSystem from Martel Turnkey to FlipSystem?
So Martel Turnkey, we scaled it up from, when it first started, we were doing 8 houses in the first year to doing 50 houses per month was our biggest month.
Yeah, wow.
As we scaled up that business, we realized the business didn't really make much sense. It didn't have very good economies of scale. And so we were making more money doing 5 deals per month with less overhead, less employees than 50 houses per month with a ton of employees, a ton of overhead, all that kind of stuff.
Got it.
The problem with the house flipping business is that it's great to make a certain amount of money. At that point, you can't keep reinvesting those funds back into the business. So what I mean is, you can't go and affect the real estate market. Just because you, Soma, have flipped 1,000 houses doesn't mean that you're going to get a better deal on the next house. Because Joe Schmo, who has 25 grand and a hard money lender, is going to overpay because he doesn't have any overhead. So it's almost like the small guy is always going to win on the house flipping business.
That's very unique. I don't feel like a lot of other businesses are like that.
Yeah, the trucking business is like that,
business?
which I learned the hard way. So yeah, there are some businesses like that where most of the people doing the house flipping always stay small. That's why you don't have a public company that flips houses. They would never win. The public companies that buy real estate or single family houses just buy them
and hold them
turnkey and rent them out.
Oh my God, I never thought about that.
Yep.
Okay, so what is kind of like that sweet spot? You said it's about 5 houses a month. What kind of profit are we looking at with 5 houses a month?
The typical deals that we do, again, are $10,000 to $15,000 net profit for FlipSystem and for Martel Turnkey in the past. It's the same exact business model that we teach that
exactly.
we've done.
Okay, so if that's like maybe around 50 grand a month?
50 grand per month, but you can do 5 houses a month. It was me, my dad, my brother, and my mom.
Yeah,
so it was just a family business making $50K a month.
That's incredible because for most people, that's a dream in and of itself. But you had a bigger vision of wanting to scale something and build something bigger.
Yeah, grow a business bigger, correct?
Grow a business bigger.
And then I was like, well, I'm already doing this. Let me see if I could scale it to the moon. Tried to scale Martel Turnkey to the moon. It kind of broke down. I kind of learned the hard way that it's just an unscalable business. And then people started also reaching out to us because they would buy a turnkey rental. Then they wanted to do a deal themselves. They knew us, liked us. Yeah, they knew us, liked us, trusted us, wanted to do more with us, but I didn't have anything to offer.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, cool, fine. I'll do one-on-one coaching. Pay me $3K a month.
Okay, so then that's what led to the coaching. And the coaching not having a high success rate is what made you want to improve it.
Yeah, because I mean, any business with a low success rate is never going to succeed anyway. So I was like, all right, this is either I'm making great money. I was making a couple $100,000 with like a couple hours a week. So
That's
it was
crazy.
It was great money for me, but then all my customers were failing. We had like a 5 or 10% success rate.
Which most coaching programs do.
Yeah, which I would assume most coaching programs do. The problem is they don't know that they're not successful because they don't have the software
to track it all
that their customers are using. So they just have Facebook groups or Discord, and it's just like we get one testimonial a day. Yeah, but you have 5,000 clients.
Right.
Like one testimonial a day is nothing.
So then I really want to talk about the birth of FlipSystem. So you were kind of wrapping up your coaching stuff. It wasn't working the best and you knew you wanted to improve it. What made you want to improve that instead of starting a brand new business model? What made you want to work on it still?
Work on the coaching business?
Yeah.
Because I knew that it had more potential to scale and it had way better margins than the house flipping business.
Okay.
So like a house flipper or a house flipping business, you probably have like a $100,000 house, you sell it, you make $10,000 in profit. That's a 10,000 or a 10% margin.
Okay.
Whereas like if I took the software that I already had built and empowered other people to do the same, which I know that they can make a couple $100,000, like I said, they can make $50,000 a month with
literally.
them and their 2 kids, or them and their wife can make $50,000 a month flipping these houses. Eventually at scale, obviously that is not the average customer with FlipSystem does that, but a possibility. It's also possible to make 1 billion houses a year flipping houses, but it's not realistic. But realistically, somebody could grow a house flipping business, and there are other people that have house flipping businesses that make, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. And so when I was looking at my education company, like just the coaching, the one-on-one coaching, it didn't really make sense to scale it because it wasn't good.
Okay.
Like it wasn't a good product.
But you knew the margins would be good, so that's what made you want to improve it.
I knew the margins were good, and then it was just like, okay, this is great money. How can I win and the customer win as well?
Okay, so you liked the margins. You knew that you could help people. You knew that it would pay you well.
Yep.
Now the missing part was just how do I get them to be more successful?
Yep.
Now at the beginning of FlipSystem, obviously I've been there since the beginning. I remember we didn't always give all the secrets away. We didn't always give the teams and the information of the boots on the ground and stuff. What was the decision to kind of hold that piece of knowledge back and focus more on the software and focus more on the approach?
I think because the biggest bottleneck to FlipSystem was the teams on the ground because they were the ones with limited bandwidth. So most education companies or real estate coaches or whatever, they're never going to give you their contacts because they're doing deals themselves.
Exactly.
That's the first thing that's going to go out, right?
Yeah.
But if I give you the tools on how to go and do it yourself, find your own teams, build your own property management company, do this, that, and the other, then you can go do it yourself. It doesn't really affect me. So education has unlimited scale. Software has unlimited scale. Connections, that's where the scale isn't. And that's why we're definitely not the cheapest education company out there. We're pretty expensive. And we just increased our prices again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And so then about like a few months in, you decided to give the connections.
Yeah.
And what was that decision?
That decision was because we were so first it was a test of, can I just give somebody education and can they succeed? The answer was no. Can I give somebody education and software? I was just slowly picking it off. Can I give somebody education and software? Can they succeed? The answer was still no.
Okay.
Why? Because it took them 6 months, 12 months to even find that team on the ground to have a profitable deal to get one.
Right.
Now, as I just told you, the average FlipSystem customer comes in, sells that house, and makes a profit in their
within those 12 months.
Within the amount of time it used to take them to find a team, they're now profitable in flipping a house.
That's crazy.
So it was just step by step. Education and software. I mean, that would be great if I could just do those two things, but it wasn't successful.
It was just so slow.
It was so slow. And then it was education, software, and the team on the ground. And then that was the missing piece.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it being slow. The difference is that I feel like FlipSystem's clients specifically, they have full-time jobs. They have families. They don't have time to wait 12 months to find a team and then another 12 months to do the deal. They want the faster results. And so, I mean, I think that speaks to kind of like the people that you're working with.
Yeah, I mean, I think they also just get burnt out. Like, for somebody to actually stick with it for 9 months, they just get
with no results too. That's tough.
With no results, they just get put down and they're like, screw this. I'm just going to invest in the stock market. It's just not a fun way to invest in real estate because you can't even get started. And also too, I'm not saying that real estate investing and flipping houses is like the best way ever to invest your money, and it's like you can get rich over it, and like that it's like so smooth, and it's like,
no, it's a business at the end of the day, and there's going to be ups and downs.
Yeah, there's ups and downs, and you're dealing with construction, contractors, property manager, tenants. Like somebody actually lives in your house. Yeah. So real estate also is not like the best, most amazing thing with like no headaches at all.
Right.
It is hard work. Yeah. It is hard. It is a hard business, but some people enjoy it. Like I do enjoy it because it's fun. It's like a physical thing. It's like the only thing I have in my business that's actually
that's an interesting point. Why real estate? You must have considered other avenues to make money because you were like born an entrepreneur. I swear to God. What was the decision well, actually, before I ask that, what were some of the other businesses you have tried?
Tons of other businesses that we tried, as I spoke about in the FlipSystem event that we just had in LA. We have another one in New York, and Phoenix and Denver coming up. But at those presentations, that's essentially what I go over is like all the different businesses we tried. So it's like lemonade stand, mobile app, a food business, a sauce company, a meal prep business.
Yeah, you did bracelets and
jewelry business, Amazon FBA. So I've tried everything under the sun. And I think the reason why I liked real estate so much is it was just much bigger numbers, especially out of state. Like, dude, to make $10,000, it's like, wow, I can do one of these per month and I'm going to make 10 grand, like a full-time salary for doing one deal a month. It was insane. Like for Amazon FBA, it was like how many products or items do I have to sell to make 10 grand? It's like, you make $2 or $3 per item sold. So you got to sell like a shitload of these, thousands of these,
3,000 products.
Yeah, 3,000 units per month to make any kind of substantial money. So, and you can't sell a $10,000 or $100,000 product on Amazon and hope to make a 10% net margin.
And then you're also relying on Amazon.
Yeah, and you're relying on Amazon. You have no control.
Yeah.
You have no relationships. Like, the hard part about real estate is that you have to go and build those relationships typically, and that's why it takes so long.
But then once you have them.
And that's why FlipSystem is a fast track to that, because FlipSystem, you're buying those relationships. It's like this company or this brand has this relationship with all of these vendors. Cool. I want to join that club. I want to join that community to get access to this whole vendor network. There's a lot of other businesses that have these big vendor networks as well. Another one is like Qualia, which is a software for title companies. Yeah. And people buy this software to get access to all these vendors, like different notaries, virtual notaries, lawyers, tax people. So there's tons of vendors within this that
cool.
sign up with Qualia so that you can just click a button and be like, okay, cool, my notary is showing up. It's all automated. They don't have to like pick up the phone and schedule a notary and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. So tell me about all of the other businesses you've tried before you got to today, because I think that you were born an entrepreneur. You were raised by entrepreneurs who have done other businesses. And I feel like you're unique because you're one of the only people that I've met that has had only one real job in his entire life. Everything else has been businesses.
What was my real job?
You had an internship?
Is that a real job?
I don't know if that's a real job. So you've never had a real job. That's crazy.
I mean, I had an internship while I was at community college.
That doesn't count then, I don't think.
Yeah, I've definitely never had and then I was helping this like financial advisor for a little bit. And then I was like another intern at this other place, but that was all while I was in college. And so I never really
You never had like a full-time job.
No, hell no.
So tell me about when was your first business? How old were you?
First business was probably when I was, it depends what you mean by business. The first time I ever sold something was probably when I was like 7 or 8 years old.
What'd you do?
I started selling. First of all, my mom had a low-carb grocery store. So I would stock the shelves, and then I would run the cash register at 7 or 8 years old.
Aww.
And then around that time, too, my friend had a plum tree. And so we would take a wheelbarrow, put a tarp on it, and then we would take all the plums, put them into the wheelbarrow, and wheelbarrow it around the neighborhood, selling plums like 5 plums for $1. And then we would make money that way. Lemonade stand was that way too. We even have some photos of that too.
We'll pop some of them up.
Right here.
Okay, so that was like in elementary school. What was the evolution after that? What was next?
That was elementary school? Okay. I don't know what age goes to what school.
That's okay. I'll do the calculations for you.
Thank you so much. After elementary school, that's when I started selling then. And then when I got to middle school, it was a little bit different because I was in school so much and didn't have as much free time, and I was playing soccer a lot. So middle school, I started selling soda because in California, there was a soda ban or like a sugar ban to selling like soda to young kids, which makes sense actually. But every kid would buy soda every day. They cut it off. I don't know what year this was. I was probably 10 years old.
Sure. Okay.
So 2005.
Wow.
2005, They started this soda ban. It'd be cool to pull that up. 2005, they started this soda ban. All the kids used to buy soda every single day.
That's wild.
And I knew that all the kids still wanted it, and they were using their parents' money. So I would just, before taking the bus to school with my skateboard, I would put like 2 cartons of soda on the skateboard, put it on the bus, and then ride it to school like that.
No way.
And then I would just put it in the locker. I would go to my classes, and then at lunchtime, I would open up my friend's locker and started.
You were a sugar dealer.
It was a soda machine out of a locker, and then people would just line up, and I'd be like, "What do you want tomorrow? Like, what kind of soda?" I'm taking requests, and so I was like, doing little surveys for my customers.
You were literally a sugar dealer.
Yeah, I was. So that's what I started doing, and then that's when people started selling. I don't know if it was because of me or something, but everybody else started selling shit at school too. Like they started selling gum to each other or candy to each other.
You
or
kind of
like,
started a trend.
I don't know. Did they sell soda? Like, or did they?
No one did that at my school.
Wow.
No one did anything close to that at my school.
Oh, really?
There was no selling or trading. That was just not something that happened.
Oh, wow.
It was whatever the school offers or whatever you can get at the mall next door. That's it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So yeah, that's my middle school story.
Wait, so then did you ever get in trouble for that?
Yeah. So I had so much money at one point that I filled up the whole entire lunch table. Like, you know, one of those huge, like 10-person, 12-person lunch
Yeah,
tables.
those big circle cafeteria tables.
Yeah, there was dollar bills around a whole fucking table. And then they thought I was gambling. They were like, gambling isn't allowed at school, Antoine. And I'm like, I'm not gambling. I'm selling soda.
And they're like, sure, buddy. Sure, you're
and
selling
they're like,
soda.
okay, well, you're not allowed to do that. I'm like, why not?
So then what do they do?
I don't know. Probably gave me Saturday school or something like that.
They can actually do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was illegal.
No, it's legal.
Maybe in America.
In America.
Okay, so then that was middle school. Then you went to high school. And then what did you sell?
So high school was the big boy league. So high school I started importing stuff. High school I started importing stuff from China. That's when Alibaba came up. So then everybody started buying these Huff socks.
Yep.
So that was like from 10 years old to 15 years old, I started importing stuff from China. Once I turned 16, I started importing a ton of stuff that people were buying at Zoomies and blah, blah, blah. And there was just a ton of popular stuff. There was like these Last Kings hats. There was like these shoes that everybody was buying. This is when like the Converse started coming out, the Chuck Taylors and all that kind of stuff. So I would buy all this stuff from China, put it in the trunk of my car or bring it to school.
Wow.
And then that's when because I was making so much money with that, I was like, damn, let me start my own product. So then I took that money and I started my own bracelet company from that. And then
Which was called
Tracklet. It was like a trackable bracelet, like a flat Stanley.
Well, no, it's like the bracelet I'm wearing here. They copied that idea.
What do you mean?
This bracelet that I'm wearing is from Little Words or something like that, and it has a tracking code on it to give to people. And I bought it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I fucking
That's literally your idea.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then I made a map, and you're supposed to give one away, and then you get the next one half off.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, great.
I think they stole your idea.
Yeah, they did. So I did that, and I had hired somebody from Hawaii to build a whole website to track it. So you can literally like look up a code, and then it would like show on the software.
Yeah, I've got my code right here. My code is 996.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's essentially what I did. And then I would go to like local liquor stores and I would sell them on consignment.
No way.
I would go to like little boutique shops and sell them there. They would just be on consignment. So
How'd you know to do that though?
How did I know to do that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess my mom probably just told me.
Wow. Okay.
Because she had her sauce business at the time, so she had her sauce company,
and she would go to grocery stores with her sauce.
And she would go to grocery stores with her sauce and do the same thing. And then I was like, oh, I can do that with my bracelets. And then the bracelets were like $12. How much did you pay for that? Not telling. So the bracelets were like $12. Jesus Christ, you paid more than $12?
I paid $30 for it. Don't hate me.
Okay. I was selling $30 Swarovski crystal bracelets.
No, you told me you were selling those for $75.
Oh, was it 75?
Yeah, you told me there were Swarovski crystals, and you told me you're selling them for $75.
So there was a couple cool things that happened with that business, and that was all in middle school.
So what? Tell me a little bit about
that was in high school.
That was in high school. What was like the volume like? What were you doing?
So the bracelet company was pretty sweet because I would go to all these stores in person. I was also reaching out to all these online retailers. I got approved to sell it on jackthreads.com. I don't know if they're still around. I think they are. It was like a private, not private, but you had to put your email in, get an account to like get access to all the stuff they were selling. I sold like probably 6,000 bracelets on that website.
6,000, wow.
I was in like probably 5 or 10 retailers that I would just go one by one and sell to the retailers there. The other thing that I did was I did a lot of sponsorships with my high school and other competing high schools. I would go to they had like, what is it called? Like a community, school spirit like person. So it's somebody from the student body.
Yes.
That was like a school spirit enthusiast or whatever. And then they would do these fundraisers.
Yeah.
For whatever, like sponsorships or to like improve this at the school.
Yeah.
And so I would reach out to those people at my school, and at like one of my soccer coaches' kids had like leukemia. And so we were going to raise money for leukemia. Okay, what are they going to buy? They were buying tracklets.
Oh, wow.
So then I would make these custom ones in the school colors.
That's
and then
so amazing.
the school, all the kids at school were essentially wearing the thing that I had started.
How did that feel?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? How did that feel?
It felt pretty good.
I mean, that's incredible. You literally affected the entire school. You're helping someone fight cancer. You're like, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then we did the same thing for another school, which is San Mateo High School. Did their bracelet. They had a football fundraiser for new equipment.
Wow.
Sold like a couple hundred bracelets like that. And then I took it to the next level, and I started reaching out to the pro baseball teams.
What?
So I reached out to the San Francisco Giants
I did not know this.
to get like their colors done. Nobody ever responded, so I made my own. I went to the Giants stadium on game night. After the game, they won. Me and my friend were there with like a little makeshift table and a tablecloth,
Oh my
and I
God.
had just like hundreds of them, and I was like $10, and people were just ding, ding, ding. I sold out of all these, probably like 100 bracelets that I had ordered custom for that.
Did they notice you then?
Who?
The team?
No,
Still?
no.
Well, you still made
So
a
we
lot
did
of
that
money.
one. I probably
That's
made a
amazing.
couple $100 in profit or something like that.
Wow.
But as a high schooler, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that would take days of work.
Yeah.
It's like, an entry level job.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So why was it because of your parents that you were so entrepreneurial? Do you feel like there was something different in you?
No, there's something different, I think, about me.
And why? Like, what is that thing? Why did you always go to what can I sell and what can I do entrepreneurial wise instead of how can I go get a job? Like, what was that thought process?
I think I just liked making money. And then I think my parents were just encouraging me to go down that path instead of working a job or getting an internship or whatnot. So I think they just encouraged me more but I think I was just who I am for sure. Because it was so young that it was kind of like impossible for me to like have any thought
right?
around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because it started
too.
when I was 7 years old or whatnot. So.
How did you know that you liked money that young? Like, what was important about money to you?
I mean, nothing was important to money. It was just a game for me.
A game. You
Yeah.
gamified it.
Yeah, I gamified it because whenever I would make money, I had 2 bank accounts. I think I opened my first bank account when I was 7 or something.
Aww.
And I bought my first stock when I was like 10
Oh my God.
or something like that. Because everybody was buying all this stuff from Zoomies.
Yeah.
I would go and buy Zoomies stock.
Shut the fuck up.
So I bought
You knew to do that?
So I bought Zoomies stock with like my dad's account.
Aww.
And I think I made like $80 like I put like whatever, $50 in, and it turned into like $120 or something like that. So I made a good amount of money in like a couple of months, and I sold my stock, and I was like, oh
Wow.
my God, I'm genius. I made $80.
But like as a 10-year-old, that is really genius.
But you know what I found out about the Zoomies stock is that Zoomies sold way more product during the summer months, and then the winter would crash. You go look at the stock graph today, it just goes like this.
No way.
So every winter I would buy it, every summer I would sell it, and this was me at like 8 years
10
old.
years old, you're analyzing stocks.
Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, this is so fucking easy. I was like, how does everybody get this shit wrong? Just buy Zoomies stock in the winter and sell it in the summer. I mean, are you an idiot? So, anyways,
Okay, so you weren't a humble entrepreneur. We're learning that.
no, I'm not. I am, yeah.
Oh, you idiots! Just buy it in the winter, sell it in the summer.
It's like, how's everybody
That
get this
is
wrong?
so funny.
So I think I just like making money. Oh, I was gonna say, I also gamified it. I definitely gamified it because for me it was just a game.
Well, yeah, because when you're that young, you don't understand the value of money. So
Yeah. Oh, and I wasn't spending money. I'm not a big spender.
Yeah,
so I
I
didn't
know
spend.
that.
So I don't really spend the money. But I gamified it because every time I made any kind of money, like let's say my checking account went above $100, I would put all that money into a savings account. And then when I would go to the bank with my debit card or whatever, I would just be like, hey, what's my, because I couldn't get a credit card at the time, what's my bank balance? And they would just tell me the checking account. And I think maybe I had like a Bank of America mobile app or something.
okay.
So I would just look at the checking account. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm back starting at 100. I need to turn this money into, I need to get over 100 or over 300 and move that money to the savings. So I kept tricking myself, like,
by keeping your bank balance low, like your checking balance low, moving everything to savings and giving yourself enough seed money to start something new.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's how, and then I just like kept doing that. I did that, hundreds of times. Like, how am I going to make money this month? Game. How am I going to make money this month? How am I going to make money this month? And just keep gamifying it. And then, so I think that's why.
And what made you like this game that you created for yourself more than video games that most teenagers and young boys like?
I mean, it was way more challenging. You have to deal with real people, with like getting them to take out their credit card or cash or whatever. And it was fun to me that it was real money. I mean, I knew video games were games. So it was great to pass the time. But as I got older, it was just.
Didn't have any real world.
Yeah, it didn't have any. It was just playing video games to pass the time, essentially.
Or hang out with friends or something, Yeah,
and I wasn't like going to learn anything that was going to help me in the future. So, I don't know. I liked making real money. It was way harder than a video game was.
For sure. Do you feel like you still gamify business for yourself?
I mean, it definitely is a game. I don't trick myself anymore like that. Because I think what that also taught me is like the value of saving money and not spending money. So that's why I'm not really a big spender. So then now I know that. Whereas some people have to do that so that they don't spend money.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah. So somebody like you, like as soon as they get $1, they go and spend it.
Go buy a $30 bracelet.
Yeah, really. I'll sell you for 12. So I don't think I gamify it now. I think it's definitely a game, but it's at a higher level where I don't need to trick myself.
Well, yeah, you've already built values for yourself, so you don't need to trick yourself. That's just what you do automatically now.
Yeah, correct.
But it's still fun. It's still like a game. Like, it's fun for you.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine that at your level, money really motivates you anymore, does it?
Yes.
It does?
Yeah.
Do you think that would ever stop?
No.
You think that money will always motivate you?
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's a problem?
That's the problem. Like, you make $100 million. Okay, cool. Next thing, 500 million.
But is it because of the money, or is it because it's fun?
I mean, it's both. You're doing something because it is profitable, that it generates money.
Of course. Is that the cherry on top of the cake, or is that part of the motivation?
No, I think that's part of the motivation because it's more like a milestone instead of the actual. Okay, sure. It's more about the milestone.
Okay.
Rather than for example,
I can see that.
did a huge milestone a month or two ago. We crossed a big threshold in 1 month. And so it wasn't really about like, oh my God, we made so much money. It was more like, we finally crossed that milestone. Cool. Now we're going to go to this.
So money for you is just a way of measuring your journey. It's the milestones that it creates.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because I personally don't see you on a personal level getting so excited. Oh my God, I made this much money, or this is how, like, you don't really get giddy that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think that money motivates you.
Yeah.
That makes more sense that it's a way of seeing your achievement. It's a way of, just visually seeing it.
Yeah, but I also think it's not that cut and dry too. Like if you were like a pro athlete or something and you have like no team, there's no overhead or payroll and stuff like that. Like if you're a pro athlete and you make $1 million that year, like cool, you're getting that $1 million minus taxes. Mm-hmm. When you have a business and you make $1 million in a month,
it's not always yours.
You're like,
yeah.
Okay, cool. We made $1 million this month, but it's not like I get $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta pay for ads and marketing and
all the payroll,
tech team and payroll and software
and then also if you want to further develop the product, you have to reinvest it too.
Exactly. So that's why it becomes more difficult, and there's more things to balance than just like I made so much money this month. I didn't really make it because I know I'm gonna invest it back into the business to generate more of a money. So. Okay. When you're selling shoes and you sell shoes and you get the cash, it's like, I made this much today.
Right. So like at a lower scale, it does go to your pocket. But
at a lower scale, it is about the money. But then as you grow, it's more about like the top line revenue, the net profit margin. But it doesn't mean that I get all that. You know, if we do $1 million revenue in 1 month with a 30% net profit margin, that's $30,000 net. Doesn't mean I'm making $300,000. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And why it would just become now a milestone because of you don't know where the money's necessarily going to go if you're just going to keep reinvesting it to make the product better.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, when it comes to all of the other businesses you tried as an adult. I really want to dive into that because I feel like those were real businesses that had so many bigger losses, bigger wins that got you to where you are today. What were some of those businesses?
The bigger losses?
No, just like your real businesses, like post-graduation now.
The first real business was the tracklet business. That was the first real business.
Okay, you would count that as your first real business.
Yeah, I would count that as my first real business. After that, I started like a mobile app. And so the mobile app was, this is when Instagram kind of came about. People really wanted likes. There was like, people would go on Kylie Jenner's Instagram and comment, follow for follow, like for like.
That.
So everybody remembers
God,
that. So then
so
I made an app because of that, because I was realizing that people were like wanted likes and comments so much. I was like, shit, they're probably willing to pay for this thing.
I think Ron bought it.
Really?
I think he bought your app.
Oh my God. Oh. Thank you, Ron. Paid off my expenses.
With the $13?
Yeah, all $20. So I made that app. It was called Insta Likes. Okay, so I guess it was pretty popular. But I made this app, and I was in high school. How old are you in high school?
14 to 18.
So 2013, 2014, I made this app.
That is so. My mind is just blown right now. That like literally two like people.
It was a really good name too, Insta Likes.
Because it's like instant likes, but
Yeah.
Instagram. I love it. I love it.
So I made this app, and I hired this guy in India to do it on Upwork. I paid him like a couple $1,000s to make this fucking app.
Did you use the money from your tracklets to fund this?
Yeah, I used all my money on this thing.
Wow.
And I made this fucking app, and I go to Instagram. I get it approved on Instagram. I get an Instagram API to pretty much ping Instagram, because all that stuff was real. Like, you guys would like it on the app, you would get a coin, and then it would actually go to Instagram and like it on Instagram, but it was all through my app. And there would be like 4 or 8 photos per thing, so you can just do it rapidly like that.
They're all nodding their heads. They're like, yeah, that's what we did.
And so you would like it rapidly, and then you'd be like, cool, I got 8 coins. And then you'd keep going. And then it would be like, do you want to just buy coins, lazy ass? And then people were like, yes. And then I made that, whatever, I spent a couple $1,000. The first month, I made like $5K, $10K.
What?
From people buying those coins.
No way. So you got them hooked by doing it for free.
Yeah.
And then you hoped that they would get lazy and buy.
Oh, they got lazy. Trust me. People were buying packages of
They're both nodding their heads. They clearly
people were buying
bought.
like packages of 500 or 1,000 likes for like a couple $100.
Can I see what? Do you have any pictures of what that looked like?
I don't.
I wonder if I would recognize the app.
For the presentation, I went and looked up for the screens. But anyways, the app was only around for less than a year or something like that, or maybe even a year, because the app got shut down from Instagram API. We were pinging the Instagram API too much that the Instagram API got shut down.
You were pinging it too much?
Yeah, like it was like a red flag for Instagram. So then Instagram was like, you guys can't be pinging the Instagram API this much. And they ended up turning off the thing. And then I spent all that money trying to like figure out how to talk to Instagram or get be like, hey, we're doing something legit here. Like, people are like, it's just trading off. Like, it's what people want to do.
I mean, Instagram should have monetized that themselves.
So yeah, so that's what ended up happening. That was a very short-lived thing.
That's so exciting.
But it went like.
Did people in your school know that you were doing this stuff?
No, I don't know if anybody knew, because I wasn't really posting around what I was doing at the time. I mean, social media had just come out, really.
Right.
And I was more posting just like, cool photos of myself. It wasn't really like talking about business. I don't even know if you can do videos on.
You couldn't do videos on Instagram back then.
Right?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So like it would be
photos.
like a screenshot of like the app, or I don't know.
Oh yeah. Okay. Not really many ways to flex back then.
Yeah. On my iPhone 3. Yeah.
Okay, so then that happened. Wow, I had no idea how successful that app was.
Yeah,
I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah, there was like, I don't know how many people downloaded it. Over like 100,000 people downloaded it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then where did you take your ventures next?
That only lasted for about a year or so. After that, I went to community college. I don't know what I really did in between that time.
Maybe just studying?
No, I started after that I started an electronic cigarette company.
Oh yeah.
And And that was when everybody was jumping on e-cig.
Vaping,
That's when the blue e-cig came out. So then I started my own thing called the black e-cig.
I love how you never reinvent the wheel. You just take what's working and just riff off of it.
Yeah. So I did that. That was a very short-lived business as well. That only lasted about a year. It was really hard to sell them because there was so much competition, and it was hard to break away from the competition. And so the lesson I learned there is, like, if you're going to start a business, you can't just copy, like what you just said. You can't just copy. You got to do something different.
You have to reinvent the wheel a little bit.
You have to reinvent the wheel a little bit, or do something a little bit different. Add some value in some way. For me, it was just like
hopping on the bandwagon.
It was just hopping on the bandwagon, and it's kind of like. Then I heard Mark Cuban say this a little bit later, where it's like, you can't just hop on the bandwagon.
You'll always be behind then.
And do what everybody else is doing. If everybody's going left, you got to go to the right. Or if everybody's going left, you got to go to the middle.
Yes,
it can be the same thing, but just.
Which makes sense, because then you were always a little bit behind. If you're always copying, you're never going to be ahead of the trend, and you're always trying to play catch up.
Yeah, exactly. And I was super young at the time. I didn't have the team. I was just like trying to flip stuff again. So that's kind of the what I did there. And then now it's like talking about community college. And this is when I got into real estate. My brother took me and my dad to a real estate seminar. We learned about flipping houses, wholesaling, all that kind of stuff.
Was real estate on your radar before that event?
No.
Really?
It was something I never thought I would. I just didn't have the money to do it. So that app, like they were saying, is 2013, 2014. I went to that seminar in 2015.
Wow.
The real estate seminar was in 2015. So it was all like right around that time.
I'm guessing you felt like real estate was out of your price range because you were in California, though.
Yeah, it was in California. And then these people were showing you how to flip houses, how the numbers worked.
Yeah.
Then it was just about finding, and people could do this out of state. Like you can buy houses in Michigan or in Missouri or Tennessee. And it was like, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But how do you do that? So there was just a lot to learn on like how to choose the market, choose the team, all this kind of stuff. So that's what the next 2 years, 2015 to 2017, me and my dad would like meet up with a ton of people. We would invest in their little deals. Even my brother was involved in the time, like investing in other people's deals, all this kind of stuff. So we started investing, but like leveraging off other people and them doing deals. We would be their private money lender or joint venture investor. And then in 2017, we started doing our own deals because we thought we could do it better.
And I know at some point Instagram became a huge driving factor to your success in flipping houses.
Yeah.
When did you start using Instagram as a tool for promotion?
Probably right around that time in 2017. That's when I graduated college. So right around, it was probably like 2016 is when I started making content on Instagram about real estate investing. So it's almost been like 8 years of making that content. And then almost 10 years since first time to real estate.
Yeah. You're just coming on your decade.
Yeah.
So you found your kind of like your golden ticket, like your industry that works for you.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Real estate is a great way to make a ton of money, but to get past $500,000 a year, $1 million a year in real estate, flipping houses
specifically
is hard.
Okay.
To scale, like I just mentioned. So definitely real estate is where most of my knowledge is around, but I think it's also like, if you scroll up a little bit, it's more business or entrepreneurship. So it's business, but then there's just like a, key focus. So sure, my major is business with an emphasis on real estate. With a minor in real estate. So it's more about business. So I think I'm now with FlipSystem trying to go back up to more of like the business side.
I see. You're reconnecting with who you always were, which is just an entrepreneur. Because until that real estate event that you went to in 2018, 2016?
2015.
2015? Real estate wasn't on your radar. Just money and business was.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And so with real estate, you did also branch out while you were doing real estate into a couple other ventures. You did wholesaling outside of flipping. Yeah. You did a title company. You did a trucking company. Were you trying to branch out again to try new businesses, or was that because you saw a need and you just thought, hey, I have some money, let me try it?
Yeah, that was more just trying to diversify a little bit.
Okay.
Because we were making good money with Martel Turnkey, with the house living business, but it didn't really necessitate more of our capital. So then with the money, we were like, hey, what are some other businesses we can do where we can also have more control of the process? Like the title company, for example. We would use 15 title companies in 15 different states. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of work to be like, who's the title company on this one? Who's the title company on this one? So, and 3 of them were good, 7 of them were terrible, and 3 of them were MIA. So it was like, well, if we can just make one title company to manage all of this, it would help streamline the process. So that's what that one was.
So that was like to benefit Martel Turnkey almost.
Yeah, Martel Turnkey and our buyers too, because then the buyers would get a bad experience with the title company. We were like, yeah, sorry, they're horrible. This is the best one in the state. And
oh my God.
And it was kind of like that. So I think that's why we started that title company.
Yeah. Okay. And then wholesaling. What was that all about?
Wholesaling was because I had a couple of friends from college that wanted to start their own business. They were trying to do Amazon FBA drop shipping. It wasn't working well. They both had to get jobs out of college to pay for the bills. And wholesaling was a way for Martel Turnkey to get a bunch of more deals. So we were doing 10 deals a month. We wanted to go to 20. Cool, we can still find stuff on the MLS, but also we can get off-market houses. We were using 10 to 15 wholesalers in 10 to 15 markets.
Oh.
Same story. And
so
then,
these all feel like kind of branches of flipping. You just happen to see another kind of like a bottleneck, and you're like, why don't I just solve this?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it wasn't really me solving it. It was more like, hey, it was like a business opportunity in a package. So I would go to somebody and I'd be like, hey, Chris, here's this business, or Hayato, here's this problem that I have. Here's how you can solve it.
And here's how much money that you would end up making.
Here's how much money you can make on a per deal basis.
That makes sense.
And then we'll fund and pay for your salary for the first 12 months.
To get it up and running. Wow. That's how you ended up working with so many of your like friends and colleagues, because you saw opportunities and you basically like proposed it to them.
Yep.
Gave them this like kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity to run a business with a market that you've already identified, a need you've already identified, and hey, I'm going to cover your salary while you get started. Yep. That is amazing. So tell me about the trucking company then, because I think you lost the most amount of money on that business venture.
Yeah, trucking company was when we were doing, it was just a couple years ago. And the reason why we wanted to start a trucking business was because one of our investors requested money back. We said, sure. He was like, I'm starting a new business. I want the money back. We're like, what new business is this where you need like $150K to start? And he was like, I'm starting a trucking company. And we were like, oh my God, like, do you need more than $150K? And he was like, I mean, sure. And so we got on the phone with him. We decided to partner with him. He would run the business. We would invest in the business. He would use our capital. And we ended up buying like 5 trucks. We hired 5-6 drivers. And he had a ton of experience in the trucking business. And we got destroyed with COVID, with
insurance
costs for being a new trucking company, with the unreliability of trucking drivers. Gas prices went through the roof.
Because I was just talking to Eric about this, and he mentioned at the time when you started the trucking company, the gas prices rose and the contract offerings kind of sank because of COVID. Yeah. And he said you guys were just caught in the crossfire between that.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And do you think that, I asked him this already, but do you think that if you started the trucking company today or any other time it would have worked?
No.
He said yes.
The trucking business is, so the reason why we want to do the trucking business too, after looking into it, 96% of the trucking business is owner-operated drivers.
Oh, so is it another, that's what you were saying, it's another one of those businesses where if you're doing it at a small scale, you're making good money. As soon as you try to scale up the operation, it's over.
Yeah, it's not about how bad the entrepreneur is, it's how bad the boat the entrepreneur is.
Oh, it's just the business opportunity wasn't for you.
The business opportunity is not for one that wants to scale.
Right.
So sure, and truck drivers can make if you're 18 listening to this and you want to make $150K a year and willing to work your ass off, even if it's just for a couple of years, go buy your own damn truck, put 10% down, go and get your contracts. You could make insane money.
Yeah.
Driving coast to coast, driving just locally in California, New York, Florida.
It's interesting.
Like you can make a crazy amount of money.
That's what a lot of new immigrants in Canada do from India. A lot of Indians are truck drivers and they buy their own trucks because it's hard to get jobs otherwise, because their qualifications from another country don't always translate to something, or their education doesn't translate. Yeah. And they all start making a killing by doing that. Yeah,
you can make an insane amount of money. So, and that's why I think we were trying to change that 96%. Like, let's go help these small guys. We would go to them and be like, hey, do you want to work for us? They're like, why would I work for you? I make $300K a year and I come work for you and make 80 or 120. Like, why would I do that? For no difference. It's like, well, you don't have to find your own contracts. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. They're like, dude, that's easy.
Yeah, like, it wasn't much of a value
I've been doing this for 5 years. I don't need you to help me get a contract.
Okay, so you think the business itself just wasn't meant to scale?
The boat isn't good a boat.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Because when I asked Eric, he thought that like at any other time maybe you could find success. But I mean, I understand where you both are coming from for sure.
I mean, sure, we could have found success, but it wouldn't have grown anyways.
It wouldn't have been the scale you wanted to do.
Yeah.
I understand. I mean, okay, well, that's all crazy. Damn. And then here you are with FlipSystem.
Yep.
And this is your biggest company yet.
Yep. By far, yeah.
By far. It has blown everything else out of the water in terms of how many people you have working at the company, how many clients you have, and also, in my opinion, the amount of like success the clients are having too.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a good year and a half. It's just the beginning though. Like we're not really trying to grow it so quickly right now. We're really trying to just make everything ironclad with what we're doing.
Right.
From marketing to sales to customer success, making sure our clients are like, we over deliver on every single person that comes in and joins.
That's
Once
amazing.
I see those things across all departments, then you're really going to see it. Then we can really grow it. But
I like that.
It's kind of like Martel Turnkey too. You want to just make sure you have a good product, or any business. Make sure you have a good product. Are your customers happy? How happy are they? You're not going to know in the first 3 months of business, 6 months, 12 months. You got to give it some time. So it takes a couple years to finesse all those different things, or like put different processes in place. And I think this year is that year of doing that. So that by, the end of the year or in the next 6 months, we can kind of really turn on the fire and
I think that's awesome though, because a lot of business owners don't think that way. They don't always think about customer happiness and they think about growing too quickly. They're like, oh, if we could only expand, new location, do this, do that.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of entrepreneurs' downfall, and it makes me happy to hear that that's the opposite of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, if we can consistently over-deliver, consistently get good reviews, consistently have more people raving about it, having it be a profitable investment.
It's
you invest
so much better long
X
term,
in a FlipSystem and you make 2X in that 2 or 3 year period. Like, if we can have that be a consistent theme where 90% of the customers, 80% of them are hitting that, then we can really crank up the fire. But right now it's more just like, cool, we're maintaining and staying right here, and it's just naturally growing without spending any more money or doing anything different, mostly because of referrals and stuff.
Yeah,
and
sweet.
I think once we figure out these pieces of the puzzle, then we can really turn on the fire.
Well, Antoine, thank you so much for sharing all of those stories, because I think a lot of people don't understand how many businesses you've tried and how long of a journey this has been to get to something that works. So I think it'd be really good for people to not only hear how dedicated you were to finding something that worked, and then as well as how much truly went into building FlipSystem, because I think every single one of those other businesses that you tried along the way ultimately led you to here.
Yeah. Appreciate it. And I think it was also really good context for everybody else to also
to learn
hear
a bit more about you and your journey, I think.
Yeah, agree. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. For all you listening, thanks for staying till the end of the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.